folks, thank you for tuning back into the Colonial Airstream YouTube channel. Joe Welch is here, and we are back with another service tech tip video. It's starting to get cold outside, which means it's about time to winterize your RVs, especially if you don't plan to use them over the winter months. Are you ready? Let's get started. So why is it so important? Winterizing your RV makes sure that come next spring, your unit is ready for new adventures. If water is left in the pipes or your water lines at all, you risk having them freeze, having them expand, and ultimately having them damage your RV. By going through these steps, you can minimize the need for unwanted expensive repairs down the road. Today we will be winterizing a 2022 Airstream Caravel 16RB. Keep in mind that every RV system is a little bit different, so if you're unsure about your configuration, please refer to the manufacturer or make an appointment with our service department today. Now, before you start the process, you need to make sure that you have a couple of key items first. RV-specific antifreeze. Using regular car antifreeze, that would be highly toxic and is dangerous for humans and should never be used in an RV. We would recommend using RV or marine specific antifreeze. We do carry this in our parts store. And if you don't already have a pump converter kit installed, we also carry that, and we would recommend getting that. That way you could hook the water pump right up to your antifreeze, and it just makes it a quicker way to antifreeze through your system. So if you have a 16RB or an Airstream with similar configuration, in the front where your dinette is, if you remove your back cushion and the bench cushion, you'll see an access panel underneath. Now if you lift this panel out of your way, you're going to be able to see not only your pump converter kit, but your fresh tank and your fresh tank drain. Right here where my clear line goes to my PEX, we have a T-valve that when pointed at the clear line is now bypassing the fresh tank and feeding directly from the antifreeze bottle that we put the converter kit in. Before I even get to do that, I want to make sure that my fresh tank is drained for the winter by going to the T-valve here that you see go into the floor of the Airstream and drain outside underneath the unit. I'm just going to point that towards the drain, and now my fresh tank is emptying. Alright, now that my fresh tank is empty, there are a couple things I can do while I am out here. I just want to turn off, and if you're lucky enough to have one of these, my Girard water heater. That way while I'm running water through the hot lines, it's not trying to run my water heater. The switch is up on the top left, just shutting that guy off and closing the shroud. This way it's just not trying to boil any antifreeze as I run it through the system. Coming back inside, now I'm ready to go ahead, take my antifreeze and put that into my pump converter kit. So I'm grabbing the clear line, putting that directly into my bottle, trying to get it to the bottom there. And then I'm just going to rest that on my fresh tank while I go ahead and turn on my pump. So now that we're hooked, the pump is pulling from my antifreeze bottle. I'm going to start inside. Some people like to start at the highest point, like their shower. I'm just going to start here at the sink and then turn around and do the wet bath behind me. I'm allowing the clear to run through while it pulls from my antifreeze bottle, and I'm waiting to see that pink. Perfect. Now that was just the cold side. Now I'm going to go ahead to the hot side of my sink, open it up, wait for the pink to run to clear, and then back to the pink from the antifreeze again, like so. Now both the hot and cold side to my sink have been antifreezed. At some point during your antifreezing, there is a chance that your pump's going to keep running because you've run out in your bottle. In the event of that, you just want to switch to the next. I typically would recommend having 3 gallons on hand. And now we can resume our antifreeze running. So now over at the shower, I'm just going to grab my head here. And then if you look to the back right of the wet bath, we've got our hot and cold. So I'm going to do a bit of the same thing as before. Opening one side first so I can watch that beautiful color change. Wonderful. And then after shutting off that side, I'm switching to the next. Now that we're finished with our shower, we can go ahead and flush our commode, making sure that that is also changing color. And now we can take another trip outside. Next, while we're outside, we want to go ahead and open our outdoor shower with our 751 key. And then we want to go ahead and replicate the same steps from inside. Shutting off each side, running clear, and then pink. So if you're lucky enough to have a Girard on-demand water heater, in addition to having it shut off and having already ran water through the hot side here, I also want you to come and go to your pressure release on the bottom and open that up until the clear comes out and pink comes out behind it. This is an important step just in protecting the water heater itself. Girard as a manufacturer is okay with you putting the antifreeze through the unit. You just want to make sure that you get it all the way through the unit. Finally, we're at the lowest point of the trailer. Your hot and cold low point drains underneath. That is on your waste tank here. We've got hot and cold, and I just want to open each of these up, allowing my antifreeze to spray out. That way now, everywhere from the highest point to the lowest point of the unit, we have filled with antifreeze. So now that we have antifreeze through all our water lines, we're going to go back to our pump here. We're going to take out our converter kit. I'm going to cap that for next winter. And then I'm going to go ahead and, as long as my fresh tank is empty, put this in the correct positioning for when I return in the spring. In addition to turning my valves back to where they belong, another thing we like to do here at Colonial is there's actually a water strainer attached to your pump. This black and clear plastic with a metal strainer inside. This can be removed, cleaned, and reinstalled before the spring. That way there's no antifreeze in that strainer when you go to use the pump. Now with my leftover antifreeze, my feed lines are completely covered, but let's say you just want to worry about your drain lines a little bit. I always recommend using the excess antifreeze to put a little in each trap in your unit. So I want to do the same thing over here in the shower drain. I would also recommend emptying the black and gray tank for the winter, and if you're worried about those tanks having any residual water and freezing up, add a little to your commode, and then that way the excess will be present in your tanks. Now that we're all done, we can also shut our pump off, but I would recommend leaving the water heater shut off until the unit has been completely de-winterized come this spring. Follow these steps and you will have nothing to worry about in the coming winter months. If you do not wish to winterize your own RV, and you're worried about messing something up in the process, then please don't hesitate to call our service department to set up a winterization appointment for you as soon as possible. Before we end this video, we would really appreciate everyone hitting that like button and subscribing if they haven't already. And if you found this video helpful or you have any questions, please leave us a comment below or reach out to us at colonialairstream.com. Our phone number is 800-265-9019. My name is Joe Welches, and I hope to see you all again in the next Colonial Service Tech Tip video.